The official report after a months-long assessment conducted on essential services for victims of gender-based violence in Saint Lucia was presented to key stakeholders on Monday. The presentation was made at the Unveil conference room at the Bay Gardens Hotel, Rodney Bay. Dr. Gail T.C. Rigobert delivered the minister's address. Acting Director of the Gender Relations Department, Janae Joseph, says, despite interventions, there does not seem to be a change in trends over the last 15 years. Thus, a scientific approach was adopted.
This is in response to the gender-based violence consultation that we conducted in March, at which we had done a preliminary assessment for services of gender-based violence in the area of health, social services, policing and justice, and the coordination generally of those services. After we did this preliminary assessment, a committee or working group of persons across the various sectors was put together, and along with the Department of Gender Relations, that working group, with the support of the UNFPA, came up with a comprehensive assessment.
The Ministry of Gender Relations recently concluded its observance of the 16 Days of Activism Against Gender-Based Violence campaign on December 10th. According to the UN, women and girls universally experience rape, sexual violence and abuse in times of peace and war. The Essential Services Package for Women and Girls subject to violence in Saint Lucia was also unveiled.
So that package will entail new services, and will also entail the enhancement of already available services in the various sectors. The sector with the greatest gaps would be the social sector. So the government of Saint Lucia is providing adequate services for health. There are a few gaps in health, but it's very well done. But in the social sector, however, there are very few services, and the services that are available are not that regulated.
The Essential Services Package includes the cost of specific services that are currently unavailable but needed for the improvement of the sector. She says the aim is to ensure that victims feel sufficiently comfortable and are treated with respect.
In addition, those services that are already available, we have identified ways of improving them, like for instance the development of protocols that are clear, inter-agency protocols within the same service sector. So that is also in the package. At the end of the day, what we want is for victims to be sufficiently confident that they can approach the service providers and get the services that they need, number one. And secondly, we want to ensure that the victims are given adequate and good quality services every single time, that every victim gets an opportunity for justice.
Key stakeholders include the Criminal Investigations Department of the Royal Saint Lucia Police Force, the Ministry of Economic Development, Ministry of Equity, Family Court, the Forensic Lab, Ministry of Gender Relations, the Department of Health, National Council for Persons with Disabilities (NCPD), and the Women's Support Shelter. Lizandy Bovell-Jones, HTS News Force.